It's been going on for so long that there's kids coming up right now, like young 14, 15-year-old kids that are wearing Ricks and posting on Instagram and never listened to one ASAP song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like that
right,
deep.
Dad. Welcome back, everybody, to
the Soul Serum Podcast.
I am your Who Got Beef With Me host, Clay Bonine. I am joined by my I Smell Good Gucci Cologne co-host Tanner Mavis.
Yes, sir.
You are now tuned in to the number one Yeet podcast in the world.
But today we are not talking about Yeet. But we're still the number one Yeet podcast. I've yet to see any competition in the Yeet podcast space, so I'm going to go ahead and still give us the crown. Today, we are back with the tier lists. We are going to be doing a rap collective tier list. A couple of ground rules for this one. I know y'all already know how the tier lists work. Throwing my phone to the side. No distractions. I'm locked in. You already know how the tier lists work. Today we are doing the Rap Collective tier list. This is a post-2010 Rap Collective tier list because as we were going down and getting this list together, you know, we were throwing some older ones in there, but it kind of felt like, I don't want to say unfair, but it didn't feel like, it felt like it didn't fit. You know, like if we had all these groups that we had and then like threw in the Diplomats in the middle of that, like how do you compare the Diplomats and like Gothboi Clique or something like that? You know,
I didn't really grow up with like the Diplomats or like Wu-Tang Clan or anything like that, so I really can't grasp my mind around, you know, their place and like their influence and like how like, you know, innovative and like, you know,
we would
have
had
a staple they were for that time, you know what I mean? It's just all like retrospect and like learning about the history of it all, you know?
Exactly. We would have based our opinions off of other people's opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't really know. I don't have much to say.
Yeah. So, and we also tried to keep these collectives to groups that we feel like we can strongly talk about too. So, as far as the criteria of what we're going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at the uniqueness of the group in the sense of not being like groups that have come before them, the collective discography of the members, so the songs that are as like the whole group as well as the discography of the individual members, the relevancy of the group today. Do people still talk about them? Do people still use them as influence when they talk about it in interviews? And as always, and most importantly, personal preference, because, well, it's our podcast. So we can do what we want on here. Are you ready, Tanner, to go ahead and get into it?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
I'm going to start backwards because this has put like this in alphabetical order, and I want to start backwards. I don't want to start with what it has on our first spot.
All right, good.
Let's start with a little recency group. Let's talk about Slayworld.
Damn.
Notable members include Autumn, Can, Summers. I'll include some of just like a few members whenever we go through. I'm not going to give the whole fucking rundown because a lot of these groups have a lot of people in them, and I'm not gonna do the rundown. But what do we think about Slayworld in the tier list? This is kind of a weird one because I feel like we haven't had, in comparison to some of these other groups, we haven't had like the time to let it like sit in as much. But what do you think though?
I think on it, obviously in the current realm of like underground hip hop and like, well, the SoundCloud niche, at least, like Slayworld is just like everything. And it's like, but the last like 2 or 3 years, especially, like the whole entire sound has been influenced by Slayworld. Yeet would not be where he's at without like being around the Slayworld guys, like getting fucking his presets from fucking Summers and Weiland. Yeah. And like really use Slayworld, not use them, use is a bad word, but like, you know, like was around them and like, you know, got the resources and like built with them to the point where like like Slayworld was pretty much his launching pad as far as like his sound, and like he got a lot of their fans and stuff like that from infiltrating like their group. I keep saying like bad words like
stole,
like he stole, used, infiltrate, like I mean it in a positive way.
Right.
And like just like the whole resurgence of SoundCloud really is because of like, you know, a lot of the Slayworld guys.
I would agree. I would definitely agree with that.
We're still in the middle of, you know, we'll know in retrospect and like hindsight, like how big like their influence was. Because I still think there's going to be some more, like a couple more, you know, big artists to either come from that niche. I know Slayworld's not really like a thing anymore, but like it was at one point.
Yeah.
And like everybody's doing their own individual things now from like the group.
But they still all get like lumped into the
people still talk
label,
about
you know? So
it's more of a sound too. Like the whole Plug and B sound like really came from Summer specifically, and like stemmed out from there. And everybody within the Slayworld group like kind of like has their own lane, but at the same time, you know how collectives are, like fans of collectives, like they just like love all the artists. And I don't know, I think they're extremely influential today. Like I said, I personally love like all the music that comes from all these guys. And
what would you rank them? Because I could like, I think like time is the biggest thing that like docks them in
and I'm looking at these other
way.
And I'm looking at these other ones like
I kind of,
I'll put an A or a B.
I'm in A or B as well. I just can't really decide. Like I kind of want to put them in B because I feel like if we're gonna like base it off of like the collective discography, I feel like
don't have enough yet.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I don't know if that's like a good reason to like take them down a tier. I feel pretty strong about the B though.
Yeah, I'm cool with B.
You want to put them in B? Okay. We're gonna get.
I might regret that.
We're gonna get hate.
I might put. I want to put it A for the record, but like compared to all these other groups, like y'all gonna see like.
Yeah. Let's. Okay. Speaking of which, I think this one is gonna be kind of an easy one to classify here. Our next collective that we're looking at is the Sailing Team. Yeah. Headed by Lil Yachty,
man,
J Band's Two Turn, K Supreme, Cody Shane, people in that area. Very short lived,
bro.
You know, but when it was on, it was fucking awesome.
It was sick.
It was so.
I love the Sailing Team, and like, you know,
the whole aesthetic and branding of the Sailing Team was so nice.
But really, it was because of Lil Yachty, and like he really carried it, and he had the vision for it all. And according to him, other members of the Sailing Team did not want it as bad as he did to be that, you know, collective, and he like really was elevating, and nobody wanted to, you know, put in the work in essentially to elevate with him. But like there was that moment when I don't know if they dropped the tape together or it was like the summer song, one of the summer songs tape. Hold up, let me go look at this real quick.
Yeah, go take a look. See, so for me, I think while you're looking that up, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think this should be a C tier collective because of the lack of relevancy today, the lack of discography, and the fact that they kind of fumbled the bag. Like shout out to Yachty, like, because he definitely wanted to bring them all along. But as we will see with a lot of these collectives that we're going to talk about, you know, certain members are at different levels than other members. And it's really hard to take them with you sometimes. So
Summer Songs 2 was like the peak of the Sailing Team. It was like the second project after Lil Boat, the first Lil Boat. And I used to live in Atlanta. I lived there for 4 or 5 years growing up. And I was down visiting like my cousins and shit down there. Like during the summer, they have a pool and shit. And Summer Songs 2 had just dropped. The music video for U.o.e.n.o just dropped with like them at the with like the school bus and shit. They're all wearing the Sailing Team jerseys and shit.
Yo, I need a Sailing Team jersey so bad.
And I was like, dude, this is so sick. And then like after that, there wasn't really a moment like after like the Summer Songs 2 U.o.e.n.o like moment. I love that song U.o.e.n.o. And
I do too.
Like. It was a great moment, but yeah, I agree for that reason. I think it's a C tier because it was very short lived and it did not last very long.
That's a damn shame.
And it's a fucking shame,
It's
bro,
such a
because it was such a fire idea.
Yeah. And just
to go with the little boat, like and maybe that's why. Maybe it was all about like Yachty and his brand, and not really like everybody's like collective thing going on, you know. But maybe, I don't know.
That's true. That's a valid point. I can see how I'm sure artists. Probably
I will say this.
Stiffed.
To this day, I'll go back and listen to Cody Shane. Like, Cody Shane is super fucking
Cody
fire.
Shane is fire.
She's one of my favorite, like, low key, you know, female artists that have came up in this niche.
Cody Shane.
She has a fire song with, it's like Cody Shane and Uzi. It's called Hold Up. It's like Cody Shane, Uzi. I think there's one other artist on there, or it might be Lil Yachty. Cody Shane, Lil Yachty, and Uzi on somewhere on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite like deep cut SoundCloud songs like ever.
Just as a side note, Yachty has a lot of really good deep cut SoundCloud one-offs that I love. All right. Next collective we're going to talk about here. Another short-lived one, but for different reasons. Pro Era.
Yes.
Joey Badass, Capital Steez.
R.I.P.
This is like 2012 New York kinda era.
Yeah.
So like low key right before the ASAP Mob like influence.
I thought it was right after.
It's what I
thought ASAP was like 2011.
Honestly, all of that starts to run in my brain together.
I feel like it was like do you know who we fucking forgot, bro? Flatbush Zombies.
But they're more like a group though. Like it's not really like a collective, I feel like.
That's true. But it was like Pro Era, Flatbush Zombies, and like the Underachievers were all coming out from the same area at the same time.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I could go B or C on Pro Era.
Bro. For real?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm looking at the other people we have on the list, and I just think as far as relevancy today and collective discography, I just don't think they're going to be up there. Uniqueness of the group, however, in that moment, how like they were doing this thing where it was like they had, I felt like 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the new era of like old New York and new New York. Like that is what was the most captivating thing to them about
Joey
me.
Badass was like a big moment too. Like I was bumping Joey Badass like heavy. Like that first like 1999 mixtape was so fucking hard.
Classic.
What's the one song, Hard Knock, with DJ or CJ Fly or some shit like that? Like bro, that one might be one of my favorite all time songs. Like,
well, what do you think rating wise? Like, I'm cool with giving them a B. I don't think I can give Pro Era the A.
Yeah, I think B.
You want to do B?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Joey Badass stands.
Yeah, they're gonna come after us.
Yeah. It'll be okay. This next one, however, I don't think will be as quite easy of a case to make. Members only.
Sheesh.
Members include a low-key rapper. I don't know if you ever heard of him. XXX Tentacion.
He has that one song that goes, I'm sad to know.
Yeah. That's the song. Ski Mask.
Yep.
Kid Trunks.
Craig Zen. Wi-Fi's Funeral.
What are we thinking? So I feel like this is the first of the groups that we've talked about so far where like the relevancy today is still super high.
Oh yeah.
It's still like people now are still talking about Members Only and what they did for them musically and the influence on them. The collective discography, you know, I mean, like when you have X, Ski Mask, and Wi-Fi's Funeral all in one group, like
crazy.
That's pretty tough.
There's a lot of good projects in there.
That's pretty tough. I feel like it's A tier, but if you can convince me to S tier, I would like to hear the case for it.
It's just hard right now because I'm trying to figure out what is S tier for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's break it down. Members Only was brought together because of X.
Yep.
X was the visionary. He brought together, you know, all these different artists in Florida. He wanted to create like this movement.
We have, by the way, we have two different Florida collectives
Who's the other
on
one?
here too. I mean, I know.
Oh yeah.
Just
one is like the son of the other.
Yeah, true.
Essentially.
True.
But nah, like Members Only was literally like peak Florida like underground rap, and like really fucking took the shit to the mainstream.
Definitely.
I don't know. It also, I throw in the fucking like Rolling Loud wouldn't be as big today if it wasn't for artists like X and Ski Mask and collectives like Members Only to be attached to the Rolling Loud brand, and like having those moments that we fucking see from like the concerts and shit, and like how crazy it was. The Revenge tour was one of the most insane tours, like which was the Members Only tour. Like every single member was on tour on that, and like it was one of the most insane tours to watch unfold.
Yeah.
Like it stopped halfway through because X got fucking rocked on stage. Like,
man,
like it was just extremely.
I just remember.
It was fucking
Holy
Rob Stone
fuck.
and shit. You know what I mean? Like, like it was just
polarizing.
It was a polarizing time, bro.
Yes.
Like it's just like it's peak underground raw SoundCloud like rap, like brought in real life, like internet to like real life. You know what I mean? And like and then to the charts.
Yep.
As far as X goes, so I don't know. As far as influence, like the moment that it really encapsulated, but like obviously I talk very highly about X on this podcast because one, I saw him twice live, so I get the full fucking
the experience
and effect. And whenever I think about it, I think about a million different things that go into it, and like how like I really believe he's extremely important, to not only my music taste, but the past five years of hip hop in general. But
I mean, how many artists have we had on this podcast who have cited X as like an influence? Like a couple.
That's what I mean.
We've had a couple.
Like he's one of the main ones.
Yeah.
So
like I said, I feel A tier. Do you feel S?
See,
on
like
this?
I'm thinking S, but like I don't know, bro. Like
I'm not mad if we put it at S. Man. I'm not mad at it.
Man, it's like right in between for me. It could go either way, but like I just don't know what other one I'm gonna put S yet. I want to put it S.
You want to put it S?
Yeah, I want to put it S. I think I'm looking at like the next 4 or 5. I'm like I don't even know if I'm gonna put those S.
That's totally fair. That is like, totally fair.
Like to me, like personally, like my personal taste, and just like that year too, when 2017 was the fucking Revenge tour run, and when X was really fucking exploding, like that's like one of my favorite years personally too. Yeah. So,
well, let's put it S. We have another one of your personal favorites up next. We got the Gothboi Clique.
Yeah,
Lil Peep, Lil Tracy.
Also saw Gothboi Clique live on tour too.
You're pretty lucky.
Yeah,
pretty lucky for that. I think this is another case where it's. It's not really like short-lived in the same way that Pro Era or the Sailing Team was. Like, I feel like this was short-lived for other reasons out of a lot of people's controls.
In a lot of people's controls as well.
Yeah, true. I think the strongest thing they have going for them in this context is like the uniqueness of the group.
I was thinking more so of like the genre. Like that they created.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like if you look like before and after Gothboi Clique, like you see like some clones after Gothboi Clique, right? But before it, like there's not really anything that was sounding like Peep or Tracy.
Yeah, I mean he definitely got influence from like the Bones, like like
I mean
Suicide
even
Boys.
The next group we're gonna talk about. Like after this,
like the underground shit that was going on in like 2014, 15, beforehand, but it was very unique.
They did it in a different way.
Yeah.
They took that influence. I'm just saying, I think they are stand out in that regard.
Not only like sound wise, but like aesthetically, like they really brought back.
Absolutely.
It's
one of their strongest qualities is the aesthetic of Gothboi Clique.
They brought emo into fucking rap, bro. Like that's like, like if someone told you that,
look at where we're at now.
Yeah, if someone told you that in like the 90s, like a fucking traditional hip hop head would fucking laugh at you.
His fucking brain would explode into a million bits.
Like one day a white kid with face tattoos is gonna bring emo into rap.
Hey, let's talk about it. Machine Gun Kelly would not have 2 #1 albums without Gothboi Clique.
Bro, and I'll also make the argument there's no Juice WRLD without Gothboi Clique.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. I think they should be A tier. I'm not ready to put them at S.
No, I wouldn't put them at S either because I don't think that like I love Gothboi Clique, but they're not as deep like
valid
as these other groups. They're very like top heavy.
Point.
With
Do you think it's
Peep
more
Tracy.
B tier then? Because
I think as far as just the influence just runs so fucking deep because of Peep and Tracy. Like Tracy don't get enough credit, man.
Right.
Like, he's still extremely influential.
Yeah.
I would put it A.
A tier. Okay.
I think
that feels good.
I think A is fair.
That feels good. All right. Now, the group that inspired the group.
Yeah, but a couple groups on here.
Raider Clan is our next one. Now, I got to be honest, Raider Clan, as it was happening, I was not.
Yeah, that's same.
I was not really in there.
I got hip in retrospect.
Exactly. Me too. Denzel Curry, Xavier Wolf.
Space Ghost Perp.
Yeah, fucking. Honestly, that's like enough to dock a point off for me to having fucking Space Ghost Perp in
but
there.
at that moment, when they were real underground, like Yams saw the vision with fucking Raider Clan and brought them, around all the
100%.
ASAP guys. There's a lot of, Space Ghost Perp was working with Rocky, like back in the day with like Clams Casino and shit. Like,
I just want to say this on wax. I will never disrespect Space Ghost Perp's influence and like visionary sound in everything in like this modern age in hip hop, but like fuck Space Ghost Perp though.
Damn.
Like I'm not rocking with that guy. Just like going on rants, telling you owe me this, that. Like that's just lame. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about the group as a whole. As far as we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording, but like listening back to it, it feels so like, for lack of a better term, like elementary. Like it's such the beginning infancy stages of members only Gothboi Clique and what we see afterwards. Like I feel like their discography may not be as strong as some of these other groups, but the uniqueness of the group and the relevancy today, I feel like are very strong for them. Yeah. In this.
I don't really know, man. Like I said, I know their influence, and like you just hear stories, and like I read up about them all the time. Like I've read up about them, and I know who some of the members involved, but like I can't say I've listened to a lot of Raider Clan, projects, or like I don't even listen to Denzel Curry that much for real, personally.
And he's definitely like the shining member of Raider Clan.
So like, don't Raider Clan fans or Denzel fans like. I don't know where to put them personally, so sorry.
They're on the wrong podcast.
Yeah, wrong podcast. But we had to show them love because it's the precursor to what we love. Like we grew to love in like the peak of like
I think
the quote unquote SoundCloud era.
I think we should put it at B.
Yeah, I'm thinking B as well. Right? I'm thinking B as well.
Moving right along to our international collective, Drain Gang.
Yeah, Drain Gang, Sad Boys. We're gonna put them in like the same group here.
Echo 2K,
Young Lean, Blade, Echo 2K, Ty Boy Digital, like Young Good.
I feel like I like Drain Gang more for like the aesthetic of it, just because not that the music is bad. I just don't personally listen to like a lot of Drain Gang music, really. So
I listen to a lot of Young Lean and Blade. I'll dabble in like Echo 2K and Ty Boy Digital when I'm around my friend Caleb McLean. He'll just like he'll play.
It's good music. It's good music. I like the shit. I just don't. I have other stuff that I personally like to listen to.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing.
Their influence, though,
it might be deeper than most of these. Especially like right now, Young Lean, pretty much inventor of cloud rap.
Right.
or at least one of them.
We'll call him the inventor.
Yeah.
I have no problem
Like
calling him
that. Was like 2013 up until now, so almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Still relevant, going crazy.
Yep.
Blade happens like shortly after that. Blade could be the sole main influencer of the hyperpop genre.
Yep.
Like a lot of the hyperpop, like, you know, people drew inspiration from him. Mm-hmm. So like as far as the sound and just overall style of their music, like, is extremely relevant today.
Yeah.
And
Their
also
aesthetic as a group is very influential.
The way they fucking from their cover arts to their music videos to how they dress, lot of people. There's a lot of Blade fucking clones out there, bro. A lot of them. Like,
goddamn right.
Like, I feel like people, like, as an underground rapper, you choose either Playboi Carti or Blade to mock like your style after. I swear to God, you pick one or the other. Right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right now.
For sure.
If you're a white kid, you're probably stealing Blade's look.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't mind putting them in the S tier.
I would put them A personally.
You want to do A?
Yeah.
Okay. Why not S though? For me that would I feel like I said, I don't listen to a lot of their music personally in my own spare time, so like I'm kind of giving them the S based off of like the influence.
I just think it's extremely niche, and it only affects like a niche audience. If you know, you know. I think members only like hit a way more broader audience. Yeah. And like was on Billboard charts and shit. And that's not to say that Young Lean or Blade can't do that one day.
Yeah, that is true.
Like I can easily see Blade or Young Lean like in Skrillex or something working together and like having like a fucking top 10 hit or some shit in the future. But like, I don't know. I just don't think, you know, it's so niche that like
that's a good point.
Which makes it extremely cool.
Yes.
That's why it's cool, is because it's niche and like and like normies and locals will not fuck with like Drangane and you know what I mean?
That's true.
The last point I want to say is like a lot of modern fashion, like high end, like Balenciaga lived, like whatever, like your high end fashion is starting to like look like like Drain Gang, like
Balenciaga and Vetmans for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
how they dress. You know what I mean?
I agree. So let's put them in the A tier. I think that's a good place to put them because of the niche factor of it. Now this next group, everybody get your favorite ad libs ready. Get your gunshot ad libs ready. We're talking about 1017 Bricksquad Monopoly.
Damn.
I want to put them automatically in the S tier because I fucking love Bricksquad.
Yeah,
and I think without Bricksquad, I wouldn't be sitting in this seat talking to you, making this podcast. You know what I mean? Like the influence that Gucci and Flocka had on me as a person.
Same.
Just like I can't even, it's like in ways that I can't even like explain, quantify. You know what I mean? But we have to think about it critically, though. We have to think about it critically. Uniqueness, as far as groups not being like them, in that time, like right around the 2010-ish mark, you know, we had some trap music going, but I think like Flocka really transformed it into a wider like brand, if you will, a wider sound.
More than Gucci did.
Yeah, Gucci just like had a lane and he was just so fucking good at it that like it didn't matter. He was always gonna be doing that. OJ the Juice Man.
Bro. Go.
Make the trap say, hey. Relevancy today, I feel like we are starting to get off of the kind of like Flockavelli influence curve. Like up until probably 2016, 2017, I feel like you could just very easily be like, this is a Flocka influence. This is a Gucci influence. I mean, like Thug, Future.
Like, I mean, bro, trap music would not be where it is today. Like Future just dropped the album. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And he's in his fucking Future bag.
Yeah, Future wouldn't be making collaborations with Drake and having like #1 albums and shit if it wasn't for, the Gucci's, the Waka Flockas, the T.I.'s, the Jeezys of the world.
That is facts.
I
mean, I'm comfortable putting them in S tier. Are you comfortable putting them in S tier?
I'll put A or S, but like as a collective, bro, like I think it was, again, they weren't extremely deep. Like I think OJ the Juice Man's career was kind of like, it had a moment, but like I feel like there wasn't really anything. I could be wrong as well.
No. It was very top heavy. You're absolutely right.
It was just Gucci and Flocka, and then also
a lot of them bringing on like homies that never really like.
Yeah, and then also anywhere. Gucci and Flocka had like a bad like falling out at one point, and like
fucking sad.
Not to say that will taint like what Bricksquad gave to us as a whole,
but.
I'm just throwing it out there.
It could have been a lot bigger.
To add it to, yeah, that's what I mean. It could have been bigger.
Okay, I think that's a good point, and I think it should be A tier because we could have got more. Out of Bricksquad.
Yeah, and there's like the things about like Gothboi Clique and members only. Like theirs was short lived, but like it was short lived because their biggest members passed away.
Yeah,
and like their influence grew even more because of that.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but it did.
It did.
Bricksquad, they're all still alive, but they chose to like part separate ways and go their own routes. You know what I mean?
That is true. That is a good point. That makes me sad.
And it really could have been like bigger than what it was, but in its moment, I can't really. All the years run together in like the 2000s. It was like the late 2000s, early, late 2000s. It was like middle school for me.
Yeah. It's like I feel like it's like 2009 to like 2012. 2013-ish is like that sweet spot for that sound. But I'm okay with putting them in A tier.
All right, cool. It's crazy seeing fucking Gothboi Clique, Drain Gang, and then Bricksquad in the same tier.
The duality of man. Okay, we have another group here. This is probably our most pure, most traditional hip hop collective. Also, the last 4 groups we're about to talk about are all heavy hitters.
Yeah, that's why we left the last
precursor to that. Black Hippy is who we're talking about right now. K. Kendrick Lamar, J-Rock, Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul. They have quite a few songs together branded as Black Hippy. Also, their individual discographies are probably
crazy.
Probably the toughest out of all these other groups. You know what I'm saying? And like that's what happens when you have a generational rapper like Kendrick Lamar in your group.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the Vice City remix with them, like the That Part remix with all the members of Black Hippy. I will say I don't really think their group necessarily has a uniqueness quality to it. It does kind of feel like a rap collective of yesteryear in a sense of like we're all really good rappers under the same umbrella. Let's just call it this.
I don't think they really pushed the brand as far as some of these other collectives did. It was just like it was a thing that they made up and they had fun with. You know what I mean? They
all were already like solo standing artists. They just all were friends in the same building and they're like, well, if we're all gonna get on a song, well, let's call it this. Whereas like a Gothboi Clique or like Raider Clan or Drain Gang it's very much like this is the brand, is this group right here. I want to put them in A. I can't say that Black Hippy is an S tier only based on the fact of like what we were just talking about where they weren't pushing the collective. It was just kind of a thing that happened with them,
I'm cool with A.
A tier is fine. See, this is one of those things where like I didn't want to be too harsh on the discography of the individual artists because if that were the case, they would have to be S tier. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But like it's a whole collective thing.
I mean, I didn't really listen to J-Rock like crazy or like I listened to more Schoolboy Q than the others, but obviously we all listen to fucking Kendrick.
Yeah. Ab-Soul and J-Rock both have some like classic albums, in my opinion, under their belt. Okay, let's move on. This one, I feel like this next group we're going to talk about really gets underappreciated for this kind of subculture of Atlanta that we eventually saw. talking about awful records.
Yeah.
And I tried to stay away from doing like record labels, but I feel like Awful wasn't really like a good music collective type thing, or like a Cash Money, like this, that, and whatever, where it was like a major label backing
there
thing.
was like executives and shit like that.
Exactly. Awful Records was just kind of like a like some weird dudes who would hang out in East Atlanta type shit, you know, like Cardi, Father, Key, like Ethereal was part of Awful Records. Zach Fox was in the Awful
Big Baby
Records.
Scumbag, I'm pretty sure.
Man, like this has a special place in my heart for Awful Records. Definitely like the first time I saw Cardi, but to be honest, I wasn't even really like on Cardi at that point. Like I was more like Father, Key.
Yeah.
I Love McConan, I think technically isn't a part of it, but like he's in that era as well. I fucking love Awful Records. And like I said, I think they really get missed out a lot when we talk about this like weirdness and subculture that we see in Atlanta. Because when we talk about Bricksquad, that's where you get your Futures, name whatever trap rapper you want. We get a lot of influence from that. But Awful is when we start to get
they're like a precursor to 2016, 17 Atlanta, like that whole scene, like fucking Lil Yachty, Polari, Larry League, like 1000 Bam Fani, like how that group started, or those groups of artists started to really pop.
We started to move away from like the traditional sounding Atlanta hip hop with Awful Records, and we start to get to that kind of obscure stuff. Another case where like I think this group is really top heavy. It's like you have like Cardi, Father, Key, and then like there's like a bunch of other members that like
and Cardi didn't stay with Awful Records for very long.
No, not really.
Like once he linked with ASAP, he left him.
Yeah,
you know, and that's like it's been a thing for Cardi in his career.
Yeah. What do you think ranking wise?
I'm thinking B.
You think B tier?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can't put them next to fucking Drain Gang.
I hate that, but
Gothboi Clique.
I hate that we put them at B, but that is
I do hate that, but
I think that's the right choice with how we've been grading everybody else here. It's like another short-lived situation where the discography doesn't live up to it, like the test of time, but in the moment though, it was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out Awful Records. Okay, we put them in the B tier. These last two, I think I know where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Already. I think you know where they're going to go already, but let's talk about it. We have the ASAP Mob. It's our second to last group that we're going to talk here. I think on everything that we've been grading them on, uniqueness, strength of discography, relevancy today, I think it's got to be S tier.
Yeah.
Like without a shadow of doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Like
I think the main thing that for me that puts it S tier is Yams, bro.
Yep.
Like Yams was the visionary for the whole thing and like was the glue to everything. Mm-hmm. And you know, he was the A&R, he was the ear, he was the eyes, he was literally like the glue and like, you know, really like brought the culture of it all together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, that's like one, and he wasn't even making music. Yeah. Like I think that's the one thing that separates ASAP from everyone else is because like they had someone that was, you know, wasn't making music, but was like extremely influential and kept the
integral part of the mob.
So integral.
And he wasn't even rapping.
Yeah.
And he probably had the most influence out of anybody else.
Bro, if he was still alive, like, imagine where they would be right now. Like he like once he passed, shit went downhill. Yeah. Unfortunately.
For real.
Like Lord Pretty Flacco Jody 2 dropped. And then after that, like things just started getting weird. Like group member, like 2016, 17, like the ASAP Bari shit started coming out. And then
Ferg isn't even ASAP Ferg anymore. He's just Ferg.
Ferg dropped out of the ASAP mob recently. And then now recently in the mainstream news, like Rocky went to jail and apparently someone in ASAP like snitched on him or something.
Yeah,
it's like it's a lot of weird shit going on right now, and I don't want to get on this tangent to where like there's a lot like talk about all the bad things that happen. Like there was a lot of great things that happened for a solid 5-6 years that ASAP gave to us, and they also did it as they dropped mixtapes as a group, the Cozy tapes. Like those were some of my favorite moments from like a collective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have the whole mob in there, and they would get their favorite artists to come feature on it too.
The very first ASAP Mob tape, ASAP versus the World, or Lords Never Worry. I always forget what it is. I think it's both. I think that's what it's called. ASAP versus the World, Lords Never Worry. That is like what I think about when I think about riding on the school bus on the way to high school, like 7 a.m. Headphones in. I think about that and like listening to that and seeing how they progressed in the years afterwards. I think it was such a beautiful rise, largely in part due to Yams and everything that you just said. I think they got to be a S tier, personally.
And just Rocky just bringing high fashion to hip hop.
Yeah,
and
for real. Like the fashion influence. Like let's put the music aside for a second. Just like the fashion and aesthetic influence of ASAP Mob,
it's crazy,
on the rap game is something that you could not put into numbers. Like,
bro, it's crazy because it's so deep and it's been going on for so long that there's kids coming up right now, like young 14, 15-year-old kids that are wearing Ricks and posting on Instagram and never listened to one ASAP song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like that deep. Like some kids on Instagram like probably going off saying like, I can't name one Rocky song, but like he's wearing fucking Ricks.
And they're going to say that's because of the Cardi influence, but where's Cardi getting that influence from though,
That's what I mean, bro.
Yeah, that's facts. Okay, S tier for ASAP Mob. And our last collective probably wouldn't even be able to make this video and have some of these collectives on there, whether they know it or not, without this group. Odd Future.
Yep.
This is another very nostalgic one for me. I'm not going to go down the nostalgic gushy lane of Odd Future, but they really did inspire.
Odd Future fans love to do that.
I know, and that's why I'm not going to do it. That's why I'm not going to do it because people always love to do it. All I will say though is like from a personal standpoint, they inspired me and my friends in a lot of different aspects of life. They were so different. It was so chaotic. It was such a left turn. It was such a rebellious, like, fuck you thing.
It was a revolution for real.
All three of the Odd Future tapes, like the collective tapes, have like crazy hits on them. And I think the members of Odd Future go a bit deeper than people want to give them credit for. Like, of course, Tyler and Earl and Sid are like at the top, but Frank Ocean, Damo Genesis, Mike G, Haji, like these are all people who have made really good music on their own. Whether people are going to support it or not is one thing. I just think their influence on making a collective or making a group, like in the modern age at least, is they brought crazy.
Streetwear and skateboarding, like really like.
Everybody who's fucking wearing Supreme listening to this fucking podcast owes an apology to Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah.
Or maybe a thank you. Maybe
I feel like it wasn't even coined like the term streetwear yet, like back then. I feel like I could be wrong, but like
But no, you're right in like them bringing that into the popularization. This obviously existed before them.
Yeah.
But like seeing Tyler, the Creator, in the 5-panel Supreme hat, how many motherfuckers do you know with the Supreme 5-panel?
Dude, so many.
A lot, right?
So many,
lot.
Bro. Like, and to me, I don't like those kind of hats. Like I can't.
They
rock
don't fit.
those.
They don't fit my head.
They don't hit my. They look weird.
Our heads are way too big for the 5-panel.
Like skater kids and just like alt kids that just like fucking like.
Yeah, I think
rip cigs and shit. Like
Odd Futures for the cig smokers. I think it's an easy S. Like
definitely
uniqueness of the group. Duh. Strength in discography. Duh. Relevancy today. I think it's still there. Maybe not as much as some of these other groups now that we're almost 10 years removed from the Odd Future peak. But like,
I also want to add like they brought back like a punk energy. In their own way, like before, like before the SoundCloud thing, because the SoundCloud was very rebellious. It was very anti, anti commercial, anti label, anti everything,
like parents, anti older people type shit, like
anti everything. It was just being young and embracing your youth and like just being yourself to the fullest. Like Odd Future inspired you to just be yourself, because like they were just some weird like kids that like, you know, I can't speak from, but I'm guessing they weren't really out like in the streets and like doing like, you know, they're probably doing some fucking funny like like shit with their friends and like
definitely. No, they definitely were, but it's
also
not.
What was they had the fucking TV show. What was the fucking
Loiter Squad?
Yeah, Loiter Squad, bro.
Come
like
now, that's a classic.
Yeah,
that's a
like
classic.
they got on Adult Swim, and I feel like Loiter Squad, like, you know, influence other groups and rappers to like
100%.
You know, want to do TV shows. Not that there's been other rappers to do movies and TV shows in the past, but like they had full creative control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And had their own show.
My last point I want to make on this before we wrap this up is that like when Odd Future came out and they're doing all these like media runs and interviews, the only people they could compare Odd Future to was Wu-Tang Clan, which happened 15 to 20 years before Odd Future ever came out. Like that is how unique and how much they shook up the game when they came in, was that they had to like scroll through the Rolodex of hip hop and be like, I think you all are kind of like Wu-Tang Clan, like, but not really though. Like just the uniqueness of it. I think they are truly in that time like a pillar of hip hop in the early 2010s. Man. I love Odd Future, man. I never owned any donut socks though, because I knew it was played out. I knew early on. I was like, I can't do it. Okay, let's give a review real quick of our tiers. In the S tier for the rap collectives list, we have Members Only, ASAP Mob, and Odd Future.
I like that.
Tough.
I like that.
That is tough right there. This might be our strongest tier list that we've made so far.
I agree.
In the A tier, we have Gothboi Clique, Drain Gang, Bricksquad, and Black Hippy. I love like that we take a left turn. Gothboi Clique, Drain Gang, you're like, okay. Left turn, Bricksquad. Like, oh. B tier, we have Slayworld, Pro Era, Raider Clan, and Awful Records.
Man,
I like that. I feel like
I want Slayworld in A. It's just like, too early.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the C tier, we have the very unfortunate, short-lived Sailing Team.
Yep.
That's what a fucking shame, man.
Yeah.
What a shame. Out of any of these groups, if you could get any of these collectives to drop a collective tape tomorrow, which of these do you pick? And for the sake of this hypothetical, let's say everybody's there, it's like peak of their powers.
Oh God. Shit.
Low key, I want the collective Bricksquad tape.
Damn.
Like I want like a focused, honed in 12 song.
I feel that.
Lex Luger, Zaytoven, Metro produced Bricksquad tape. That would be fucking incredible.
Damn. I don't know what I would want for real. Who I am right now and like what type of music I want to hear. I don't know, bro. I might have to go with Slayworld for real.
That's valid. Yeah. That's valid, bro. There's nothing wrong with that, because if they made like a focused collective
if I get Summers, Autumn, Yeet, Can, Goonie, all of them to make a fucking tape together, like
they would never do it though, because they know that we want it. Yeah. They know, and they're never gonna fucking do it. Oh man, but speaking of things that you should never do. Wait, no, that's not how I want to transition to that. Speaking of things that you should do, you should go follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Soul Serum. Let us know that our opinions are bad, or if they're good. You know, you can compliment us as well.
Yep.
Subscribe to us on YouTube, the main page, the TV page. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, you a fucking bum.
Heard that.
We stream on Twitch every Thursday, 6:30, listening to your music. Go run that up. We're going crazy on Twitch, TikTok, join the Discord, all that good stuff.
New merch coming soon.
New merch coming real soon. I actually am looking at a sample. Y'all can't see it, but there's a sample right there, and I'm looking at it.
Yes, sir.
Y'all just have to wait and see. And with all of that being said, I, as always, am your host, Clay Bonine.
Co-host T Mavis.
Kill people, burn shit, fuck school. Man, I was when I was 14, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Future Wolfgang, kill 'em all.
Kill 'em all. We'll see y'all next week.